everybody, it's Heather with Senior Service Industry Nights of Florida. I'm coming to you again from Dr. Barbecue. It feels like I live here lately. I smell like smoke all the time, but it's a good smoke. We're going to be doing our first ever St. Petersburg Senior Service Industry Night here, just a couple of weeks away. We're so excited. September 18th. It's going to be a Wednesday, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. And I'm sitting with one of my fabulous sponsors now. Bernadette and I go way back. This is Bernadette Homan, and she is with Arden Courts of Largo and Seminole, and she's their business development specialist.
Hi, everybody.
I'm sure everybody that's watching this in the St. Pete market know you very well. You know, we were having an interesting conversation. I normally start this off with, tell us a little bit about Arden Courts, and I will let you do that, but you know, we were bringing something up that in light of what's recently happened with Hurricane Dorian, the importance of people having a preparedness plan when something like that hits. You want to touch on Arden a little bit and how we can maybe dovetail into that topic a little bit?
So we do respite stays for folks with Alzheimer's or other dementia, and what I like to stress to families that are considering respite stays is to don't wait till there's an actual crisis. Don't wait the week of or 2 days before Hurricane Dorian is coming through, because there is a process, there is paperwork that needs to be filled out, an assessment to make sure the loved one is appropriate for us. So once they start to consider Arden Courts, even if it's not for today, down the line, is to make a relationship with the properties, whether it be for adult day or respite stays or an emergency. Make the acquaintance, have your loved one come and stay for a couple of hours for a daycare, so that we can get to know that loved one, so that when they do have a crisis, that when that day comes and we get that phone call and say, hey, I need to, you know, leave town, take care of mom out of state, or hurricane is coming through and we live in the area and I don't want to bring my mother to a shelter, that we already got that relationship going, and you know, the process will go a little bit smoother. Nothing worse than waiting until a crisis to get everything in place and add extra stress to folks.
And so many people do that, and I don't think they have any idea, like you said, all the paperwork and stuff that goes into bringing their loved one into a community, because we got to know a little bit about these folks before we bring them in.
Well, just because we do dementia, there are some folks with dementia that are not appropriate for us, and so we want to make sure the fit is appropriate for our staff, our other residents, and for the resident themselves. If somebody is higher acuity and needs to be in a skilled nursing environment, things that we can't do, we can at least help maybe the families find the best place for them. So use us as a resource. If we're not the right community for your loved one, that maybe we can help with other resources that could help you.
And what other information can you offer the people watching this video about Arden Courts? What makes Arden Courts unique, or what is it you love about them? Obviously, you love the company. You've been with them. Bernadette's been with the company now for how long?
17 years, November 1st.
17 years. That's almost unheard of, especially in this position.
Yes.
Yes. What is it about Arden Courts? What makes them so special?
Well, the fact that, you know, 5 years prior to being built, they came up with the plan. They met with everybody and anyone that has dealt with somebody with dementia, professionals, family caregivers, everyone that sat down at a table, a think tank basically, came up with an idea of what would be the ideal situation to have somebody live in a community setting. And the design of Arden Courts came up. It's a home-like environment, so when you move, you know, you walk into the community, it doesn't feel institutional. It very much feels like a home. Each of the houses, there are 14 houses, 4 houses. Each house has a different theme, and the design is so that the person with dementia can find their way, that everything has a cueing, a purpose. So it wasn't just a building that was just, okay, we're gonna deal with dementia. We thought of everything that would help cue that person to find their way. So if they don't remember what house they are, maybe they live in garden, everything is a garden theme, or there's maybe the name on the door, or their room number, or a shadow box that tells them. There's everything, even the furniture has a purpose, and that's what makes us, I think, unique. The fact that our company has been around over 25 years, in Pinellas County we've been around 21 years. I've been with the company 17 years. I think the longevity, the standard of being around. I love the fact that our company provides us with the services of training our staff, and giving us the professional speakers that help us train families on how to deal with dementia. I think that's what makes us unique, that we not only take care of the residents with dementia, we take care of the families, we take care of our staff, and that to me is important.
And you touched on something that I think is important to bring about as a topic too. people hear dementia and they just think that there's just one type of dementia. And you know, before I got into the memory care business, I would have thought the same thing.
Right.
What I love about Arden Courts, especially in their marketing collateral that they have in the community, is all the stuff that's for specific types of dementia.
Right.
Because all these dementias have to be handled differently.
Right.
With medication and behavior therapies and all that
Right.
kind of stuff, right?
Right, and the fact that we have nurses on staff, I think that makes us a little bit easier to handle some of the more difficult dementias like Lewy bodies, that not a lot of people can take Lewy bodies. We do seem to do well with some of the behavioral challenges. Not that we want everybody that has behavioral challenges,
Sure.
we want to have a nice mix. But if there are places that are not able to handle that there is a place for families to look to because of the way the design of the building, the staffing, the training, the availability of corporate, that if there's something that we're having a problem with, that we have that resource from corporate to give us the tools to make it successful for that person and that family. Because we understand that there's not that many places that can handle the behaviors, and there's not fun to be in a nursing in a Baker Act situation either. So if we try to contain our pet residents that are having behavioral issues, maintain them in the building with proper medication, the proper environment, with the right redirection, then you won't have to have them sent to a hospital and have them in a Baker Act situation. That's another situation families find themselves in that's very traumatic and overwhelming, that if we can help prevent that, then that's our goal too.
And I really want you guys, when you come out to the event, to be able to come up and talk to Bernadette, get to know Bernadette in Arden Courts, because you're going to find people and throughout the market, whether you're going out to homes, doing Medicare home health, private duty, DME, everything. People that need to start building that relationship with you now,
Right.
rather than when the doctor says they can't be at home any longer.
We've had people on our wait list that have been on our wait list for 10 years or more. They're not ready yet, and then it's like, oh, my loved one is not as progressed as that yet. The word is, you're saying yet, they're not wandering. We're not a lockdown community, we're secure, and that's one of the things that I think people need to come and see us, because when they hear we're secure, they think of like, petted lockdown community, but it's not. You have the grounds, you have 3/4 of an acre of walking path, so they have access to the outside. So when you come, you don't feel contained. It's not a hallway that's blocked off and you have to wait to be brought down an elevator. They can go out whenever they want. So I'm from up north, I'm from New York. I moved to Florida to be out in the sunshine. So if I had dementia, lived in a community, I already tell my friends that if I ever have dementia and you put me on a second-story unit, you'll probably be Baker Acting me, because I want to be outside. If I see the outside, I'm going to go on the outside, and sometimes that's hard for people.
Well, I was going to say, you bring up an important point, because I've seen a lot of communities that have added on a memory care wing, and they put it on the second floor, and these poor people never get to see the outdoors or be outside and feel what.
And they do go out, but sometimes if circumstances, they may not be able to go out as often. Where the freedom to go outside at Arden Courts is they can go out whenever they want. If they're in a wheelchair, then that we may have to help them get there. But those that are still ambulatory, that's the ones that are having problems when they're in a unit that doesn't have access to the outside, because they can still see the outside. They want to go outside. They're pacing back and forth, and they don't have much outlet.
Right.
So you have to find, if you're programming. If you don't have something programmed to keep them engaged, like we do at Arden Courts, we have 96 hours of programming 7 days a week, then you have the outside grounds. So that's another part of programming. So that's why I love what I do.
And you do support groups, you said, right?
We do support groups. We do caregiver seminars throughout the year. We just finished one today with Eileen Coyley, which was a phenomenal one about behaviors. She spoke a little bit longer than she was supposed to, but there was some really good questions, some people that really are in need. And
people are hungry for knowledge and education on the subject.
I can sit in listen to Eileen and Tam Cummings and some of the, Dr. Kate. I can listen to them all day long and pick up something new every time I see them. So I think that's why it's important to have those resources, and that's why I feel fortunate to work with Arden Courts, with HCR Manicare, Promedica, our parent companies, because they give us the tools to be able to provide those services and educational training for not just for us, but for the community at large. And that's why I've been with them so long, because they do give us the tools to be successful.
Well, I'm really excited you guys are a sponsor with me, and I can't wait for everybody to come out in a couple of weeks. Make sure that you do stop by and
It's
say
a
hello to
beautiful
Bernadette.
place. I live in St.
Right?
Pete. I've never been here. It's beautiful.
It really is. You guys are going to have a fit. The food is phenomenal. The staff has been great. And we've got the whole back patio. We're going to have a blast. So please make sure that you join us. Again, that's going to be Wednesday, September 18th, 4:30 to 6:30 at Dr. Barbecue in downtown St. Pete. And that's all for now. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.